Alright, so this morning we're just out. If you're seeing this, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you had a great time with family and friends. Today, I'm really just focused on coming out. I want to try out the St. Croix rod that I got from the Jackson Ore charity tournament. I tried it a little bit during the KEF event last week, which didn't turn out the way I wanted to. Still made a decent comeback at the end and salvaged my day. But today I want to come out and try the rod. I'm going to talk about fishing in Florida right now. We're moving into that fall bite, if you want to call it that. We're moving to pre-spawn. The fish are starting to feed. Every one of the males that I caught for the KF event were these fat little footballs. Females, I caught one that was really chunky in pre-fish, and the rest of them were still fairly slim. Not unhealthy, but they weren't definitely that football size yet. So the females starting to move up, but I like coming out to this specific spot, this lake here, because it's a good practice spot to try different things. It doesn't take for me long to get here, and the conditions in the lake change pretty much monthly, and you can get practice in on different types of things that you'll see at other lakes. So what we're going to do is we're going to fish this grass edge that's up here, because I believe that with the cooler temperatures, the fish are going to be kind of closer to that, and it's out offshore still where that bite is kind of taking place, especially for the bigger fish. So we're going to come up here and fish this a little bit. All we're going to do is we're going to drag a worm through the grass, and we're also going to throw maybe a lipless crank, see if we can get some fish feeding. There's fish pushing up right there. Hopefully we can get on them, and in the next 2 hours or so, land a couple decent ones. But we'll see. Let's get set up first here. So I paired this St. Croix rod with it's a Bass X rod. I paired it with a Ethos 8-1-1. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a Speedworm here. We're going to peg it with I think it's a 1/4 ounce weight. Don't quote me on that. And all I'm going to do, and I've had success doing it here before, there's a grass edge, and you may not be able to see it completely, but it's topped out up here just a little bit. The water level's up just a hair. It's topped out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast onto it and pull it off. Now, I've seen a lot of guys, especially boat fishermen in the tournament, the KF, man, they'd roll up on grass patches, and they would just come right up onto it and start flipping into it. A lot of times, especially specifically like this time of the year, the fish are moving. They're wanting to feed. So when you roll up on that, they're not necessarily under the mats. They're on the outside pushing bait fish around. And you don't necessarily want to roll up on the mat, because then you disturb all the fish that are under it. You disturb all the fish that are around it. You want to be back off of it a little bit. Preferably when I come up on a spot of interest like that, what I will do is, instead of rolling right up on it, I'll start fishing out from it first. Make sure I got that covered, get my bases covered there. Make sure I'm not spooking any fish that are out pushing the edge. And then, if they're not there, I'll move up closer and start flipping it. And it's easier to do it that way than to start on top and then move out, because you've already spooked the fish that are probably on the edge. If you've never, this is something that I really didn't do a lot of in Pennsylvania, but if you've never just drug a worm, some people say it's really boring, and for the most part it kind of is. I like it though, because you can feel the contour of the bottom. You can feel when the fish grab it or when they start to swim off, and there's nothing more exciting than when the rod kind of gets yanked out of your hand, because the fish, you start to put pressure on the line to pull it, and the fish feels that, they take off with it. There's one. Out in the middle. I don't think he's very big. He started running with it. No, he's not. But still a fish. So So he's fairly healthy. It's a little cold though. I'm back in the water. There you go, bud. So here's a good example of something you want to kind of keep in mind, especially if you're fishing in Florida. Like, it's topped out up there. This looks like it's all open, but it's not. There's a lot of hydrilla, and in fact, there's an edge right there where I cast. There's an edge right there, and then everything behind it is kind of stuff that's not completely topped out or completely full yet, like it is back there. So a lot of people will roll up on, but this area all through here is where a lot of the fish will be hanging out, and the kind of more sparse stuff, especially the bigger ones when they're chasing bait fish. So this is something you don't want to ignore. Just because you see a hard edge up there, you're like, oh, I should go up there and fish it. This stuff through here is really productive too. In fact, a lot of times, especially like on a lake like this is where the fish are hanging out. They're not necessarily up there. It's out in this kind of just submerged stuff that's kind of sparse. That's where they're hanging out. Okay. There we go. Another little guy. But fish is a fish. It's got some nice pattern on him. Alright. It might just be a dink fest today. So there's very little grass out here compared to what there used to be, but I'm still hitting little patches of it. He came off of one. Give it another shot. They may not be out as deep. There's grass right there. Just hit it. I think I just got bit. That's a good fish. Oh man, I wish you guys could have seen that. As soon as I pulled it off that grass. It's a decent fish. No monster, but it's the best one of the day, and it's a good fish. He's down in that junk down there at the bottom. Just there we go. All right, best fish of the day. Kind of a good hook set in the corner of the mouth, perfect, and that gill plate through that plate there. There we go. I'll take that one. I'll take that one all day. It's probably 17, 18 inches. Nice, healthy fish. Thank you, girl. So when she hit it, she jumped straight up out of the water and through the worm, and all I did was change colors. I went to a watermelon red. It's a green flake. Sometimes when you catch a fish off a certain area, fish will get wary when they see the same bait roll through. Fish aren't the smartest animal in the world. I think we give them too much credit sometimes, but they do recognize some types of patterns, and you got to be a little bit more intricate with either your presentation or you just change colors, and they may react to it completely different than the bait that just went through there. So we're gonna stick with the watermelon red and throw it back over there and see what happens. Got one on the June bug, but I think this watermelon shows up just a little bit better in the coloration of this water that we have right now. not getting as much grass out there. I think I'm going to move over a little bit that way and see if I can find that edge. There's a hard edge over there that has a drop off on it too. Caught some good fish off of it. Alright, well, fish this area over here a little bit and really didn't catch anything. No bites. A couple little bass chasing bait fish up on the hydro and stuff, but nothing crazy. So, I mean, hopefully the bite and stuff continues to kind of pick up, and then we get some like just insane fishing in the next month here, December, which typically happens, and then we get on the spawn kind of up close to shore, off structure. That kind of stuff happens in January. Got a KFL preseason game coming up in December, so I gotta go practice for that. And then we're gonna fish my first kind of live KBF event. I qualified for the 10 Invitational. I'm gonna fish both trail events and the 10 Invitational, and we'll see what happens. You know, my thing is, like, if I can finish in the money, I'm happy. And as long as I can get my limit, you know, I'm fishing against some of the best kayak bass fishermen in the country. To kind of be able to hold your own, especially on waters that, you know, are in your home state, it's kind of a pride thing for me, but we'll see what happens. So I got to prep for that. So until then, you know, guys, enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend, and happy holidays, and I'll see you guys in the next one.